Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 17th General Meeting of the Decentralized AI Agent Alliance. I'm Luke Kerner with Crypto Mondays, and happy Crypto Mondays to everybody as well. We always start with our mission at DAIAA, and our mission is to foster the development and proliferation of decentralized AI agents through education, activism, research, and events. Today's agenda, we'll have new members introduce themselves. So if this is your first DAIAA meeting, or if this is your first DAIAA meeting, or if you have not previously introduced yourself at a DAIAA meeting, feel free to do so today. If you have an update that you'd like to share with members, feel free to do so. That'll be, generally takes us less than 10 minutes. Then there'll be a brief DAIAA update, some subgroup updates. And my guess is before a quarter past, I will hand the floor over to our featured guest, Dr. Alex CAhana. Welcome, Alex.
Good to see everyone.
And you're dialing in today from New York as well?
Yes, I am.
Perfect.
Still in New York.
Well, thanks. Well, and everybody will hear while he's saying still shortly. And then if there's time, we'll have an open discussion. And so DAIAA membership statistics. We have today 156 project members. That's up 7 in the last month, 61 individual members, 217 total. So we continue to grow at about 100% annualized. And if there are any new members on the call today, if you haven't introduced yourself before, just raise your hand or just start talking and introduce yourselves briefly. Seeing if anybody's on the call that I can see hasn't been on the call before.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lowell Foyer. I'm involved in AI. I like very much Lou. I've known him for years, and I'm convinced that decentralization is probably the best strategy to keep things safe and secure.
So thanks, Lowell. Welcome. Anybody else? Once? Twice? Okay. Any members have an update that they'd like to share? Anything going on from a decentralized AI perspective?
We have a Founders Roundtable event happening at Rain's New York office tonight at 6 p.m. if anybody wants to go. Now, the problem with that is it conflicts, of course, with Crypto Mondays. So
yes.
I
assume you didn't pick the date. I'm not blaming you. And actually, I used to actually have a Rain crypto credit card, but I now use a Cast crypto credit card. That's great that Rain's, I've never been. Where is Rain's office?
55th and 6th Avenue in New York.
That's probably nicer than PUBG.
It's nice. I have definitely an imposter complex when I sit here.
Well, I look forward to going to a future one. We should have a good Crypto Mondays in NYC. Anybody else? Any of the other members have anything?
Yeah, real quick, inspired by Lou, and excited to announce that we're launching the Claw Camp Global, and it's live, very beta right now. But I'll drop a link in the chats, and we're inviting any chapters around the world to join up, post your events there, and become a chapter captain of a growing network to help people get up and running and master personal AI agents.
That's great. Congratulations. It's obviously something of the moment, and look forward to talking to you about Agent Monday, helping you manage the community.
Awesome.
Tamara?
Yes, so I'm Tamara. I'm head of ecosystem at Casper Network. And after having launched our manifest, which is our multi-year roadmap that is very much around AI, we are launching our agentic buildathon tomorrow, which is hosted on the Dora Hacks platform. So we invite anyone who is a builder, developer to participate. And we're launching this with a workshop at Istanbul Blockchain Week. So I'm currently in Istanbul. Excited about our workshop tomorrow. And in parallel, and this is actually a scoop because we're announcing this only tomorrow, Casper is going to announce its AI toolkit that includes X402 machine-to-machine payments in production on our network, on our blockchain. That is a non-EVM blockchain on Rust. So that's going to be announced tomorrow or as well.
Cool.
Yep.
Congrats.
Thank
And
you.
is that affiliated with Prove AI?
No, it is not actually.
Okay.
We used to work with Casper Labs, but we are no longer affiliated.
Okay. Good to know. Welcome. And
Thank you.
anybody else have any updates?
Yes, this is Lloyd Fremco. How are you?
Hey, Lloyd.
Three things quickly. One thing is, I don't know if it's not a conflicting thing, but I'm a founding member of the Digital Forum in Stamford, Connecticut on Thursday. They have their annual DigiFest. All are welcome.
I'm signed up for it. No, that's great.
Oh, that's great. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, no, the Crypto Monday Stanford community, I was just there last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of them are attending as well.
Yeah, that's what I figure. This is second thing is that my own company, my own initiative is on the AI side. We're specializing on bringing AI to small businesses. That's where we're focusing, both CRM with communications, security. There are already companies that have great products like for CAhana and DialPad. So we're diving in there. And the last thing is that we're expanding our remittances that we've been doing through both Bitcoin and mobile money to 70 countries, but we're concentrating on West Africa right now, and we're building that business.
Cool. No, there are other folks I know who are deeply involved in the African payment ecosystem here. So maybe they'll reach out. Leave your contact info in case they want to. And then Dennis.
Yes, hey, I'm glad to join you again, Lou, as always. A few updates since last time. We got in South Carolina, S-163, the South Carolina Freedom Financial Act, has been enacted. So we have rules of the road for blockchain, along with basic language for data centers in the state. That's been
Congratulations. I know you had a hand in that.
Thank you. It's been an 8-year struggle, uphill fight, need to say. So, but in the true Sisyphean act, we're planning on rolling down the other side right now. So, and that really is the focus of where we are trying to build our collaborative of entities, a broad coalition of folks in South Carolina that want to work in South Carolina, recognizing fintech as a new vertical horizontal. Obviously, the state's focus on AI in the past, makes us a natural area, for all this potentially to come together. We've got competitive electric rates. We have a lot of backlash right now on data centers. So, we're looking at how we can really change that with the upcoming election and our new governor. So, a lot on the plate right now, with a lot of education going on between now and September 17th, which is our next conference date. So, Lou, I want to invite you down here and participate in that if you want to put it on, pencil it in on the calendar. I'll go
Awesome. Send me an
issue the invite right
fun.
now. Yeah, absolutely. So, but I'll stop there, and obviously anxious to hear what's going on today.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis. Anybody else? Okay. Real quick, for myself and the others here on the call with Crypto Mondays, we're launching multiple sub brands, including what we're now going forward going to be calling CM Decentralized AI, and that'll be in New York, and the first one outside of New York, I think, will be in Tel Aviv. So looking forward to that. And now general DAIAA updates. Real quick, our next showcase.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Oh.
When will you be in Tel Aviv?
Tomorrow, I think in July. We're talking, and it'd be great if you wanted to be a part of it, or know anybody who did.
Absolutely.
To launch, CM Decentralized AI. The Crypto Mondays community is quite large in Tel Aviv. It's not active at the moment, But we know a lot of folks out there, and so it would be great to get you involved.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks. So the third Monday of every month, so this month it's the 15th, DAIAA has its showcase. And so we generally try and get three folks to showcase what they're building, for educational purposes, not to shill. But it's always cool to see what the cool stuff people are building. And so I think we got two of the three spots have been spoken for. But if you are building something or know anybody is who think would be good for the showcase, let us know. And I think we've got any of our subgroups on the call. I think Eric, did you want to say something?
Yeah, happy to give an update on the agentic commerce subgroup. So, as many of you know, DAIAA has several subgroups on different topics. One of the main focuses in our subgroup has been just sort of organic partnership opportunity emerged through some of the members who've regularly participated in our group, which is every 2 weeks, on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific. And so we've got a collaboration we're putting together with Bloxy, my company, which has been in the past a Web3 CRM and has kind of pivoted to document and contracts management on chain. And we're developing an open protocol called Consenti, which is basically terms before transactions. So if you're in the legal profession or in compliance and you're worried about what your AI agents are doing from a legal perspective or a contracts perspective, our protocol is basically designed to enforce terms before transactions. So before payments are made through X402 or other payment gateways, you probably want limitations of liability, terms of service put in place before API calls and data are exchanged. So we're working on an open protocol to enforce that. And our partner Certison, which has been participating in the group, has an amazing technology with dozens of patents behind it that validates claims being made. And so it's a great evaluation tool that AI agents should be running that are doing agentic commerce. And we're also partnering with Secret Network, who's been on this call before, with Alex Ziden. And they create trusted execution environments to allow for privacy. So we're going to demo it in an upcoming DAIAA webinar. I may take that third slot, Lou. I'll let you know at the end of the week just to show the Consenti protocol in a couple weeks. But if anyone on this call who is in law or compliance wants to talk about what we're doing, would love to get your feedback. We're always looking at how we can make it better and make sure we're building something that's useful. So we'd love anyone to reach out so I can run our stuff by and get your feedback on it. So that's an update from Agentic Commerce subgroup.
Okay, thanks, Eric. And I don't think there are any other subgroup updates on the call today, but I think we're going to see increasingly more active subgroups as we experienced in the first number of months of DAIAA, now that things are really picking up kind of across the whole AI agent landscape.
I'll just chip in for a second.
Hey, Deli.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, so likewise, and not really much to add in that sense, other than to agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot more activity in the next coming months, and there definitely will be in the data ownership subgroup, which is going to pivot a little bit to sovereignty as a whole. Yeah, we've made huge strides and progress in that on the tech front. So more of that will be coming shortly.
Great. Look forward to hearing all about it. And with that, I said 15 at 16, so close. We will turn it over now to our featured guest, Dr. Alex CAhana. And I've known Alex, I think now more than 8 years. I describe him as the smartest person in the world at the intersection of crypto and healthcare. But over time, he's become much more than that. Obviously, like everybody on the call here, he's knee deep in AI as well. And I think doing some incredibly interesting and I think profound work with the government of Bhutan. So with that, turn it over to my friend, Dr. Alex CAhana.
Thank you, Lou, and thank you to hear and to see old friends and new friends. Very briefly, I'll just share with you the abundance of all this work that we've been doing in the Kingdom of Bhutan. which really allows us to sandbox all these, I want to say, progressive thoughts and work on a decentralized world. Let me share this. Okay. Slideshow. Okay. I hope you see everything.
All right, looks great.
Good. So I'll be kind of focusing more on the post-labor market in a world that there's AI or AGI and what we've been doing in Bhutan to prepare the kingdom for it. When I speak about post-labor market, the basic premise is that most of the 8 billion people in the world, their main income is from salaries. I'm not talking to this sophisticated group of people that might have a lot of equity and investments and possessions and are masters of the capital and capitalist world. But most people just go to work, come back home, bring a check, and try to spend as less as possible and not indebt themselves. And the idea that AI will do everything better than humans and take away their work, and if work is the only way you make money, then you'll be without money and then be without substance. And so no job, no money. That's the basic premise of how a post-labor market will look like. And solutions that are coming up now that we're seeing in the literature and in trials are basically either saying, no, it's not going to be great. Basically, there's going to be more jobs or different jobs or better paying jobs, or it's going to be something to the extent of we'll figure it out when we get there. And what we want to create is a system where we envision that we're actually less dependent on colored paper money with pictures of kings, queens, colonizers, and slave owners. And so, why tokenization? Because first of all, it's interesting for those who are interested in finance to look at different, I want to say, financial products, stable coins, currencies, real world assets. I myself do some niche research with a couple of smart mathematicians on how do you value real world interactions and transfer them into real world assets. There are others that I'm sure are here in the crowd that are just seeing the future financial system. In Asia, there's a lot of super apps, but we're talking about already agentic banking to the point of if you take that agentic banking and combine it with self-sovereignty, the concept of the bank of me, which when you think about it is not very surprising because if already I can be my own travel agent, my own doctor, my own broker, and my own insurance agent, why not can I not be my own investor, bank, and money emitter? And at the end, of course, there's this macro, I want to say, socioeconomic and even political system where we're talking about not only de-dollarization, but also investment in the commons. And even I'll speak very little about what we're doing in the field of regenerative bonds. Why did we choose Bhutan? Well, I would like to say that I wish I could have said that it was a choice, but actually, I think Bhutan chose me. And finally, at the end, I arrived there, and the advantage was really it's a small country of 700,000 people. So things are, in terms of testing, it's a nice, sizable sandbox. They're very tech savvy, as I will show you, and they speak English, which helps immensely. It's a constitutional democracy where, on one hand, we have a single sovereign, and I had really the opportunity to meet a few times His Majesty, but it's governed basically by the royal government of Bhutan, and it is politically stable, where people not only live in harmony, but also the government evaluates that harmony by using what is called gross national happiness. And if you want, maybe next time I can speak to the difference between G&H and GDP. And that is that good governance, it is community centric. It is, I like to say it in a sentence, it is, if GDP focuses on stuff, loves stuff and uses people, then probably G&H loves people and just uses stuff. And so it's not surprising that Bhutan is a carbon negative country and is very attuned to land stewardship and shies away from all these extractive, exploitative, exclusionary technologies that we use or apply in our capital system. The idea, of course, is when we talk about things like tokenization, it's not to digitize the analog world or to decentralize digitally the digital centralized world, but really to capture and unlock these unseen values and encourage people simply to do good things. I want to just briefly show you three things that we've been doing in three separate places in the South, just to orient you for those who don't know what part of the world this is. So this is China here. This is India here. Specifically, this is Assam State. This is West Bengal. Nepal doesn't have a direct border. It's somewhere here, but this is all part of the Himalayas and China, and this would be the autonomous area of Tibet. And here we have what is called the Gelefu or Gelefu Mindfulness City. That is one area that we are focusing on. The second one is in the Huangdi Valley called the Drinchengang Regenerative Village. That's the DRV. And the capital Thimphu, where I am an advisor at the Druk Holdings and Investment Company. Gelefu Mindfulness City is the brainchild of the current monarch, the fifth monarch of Bhutan. And his vision is to create a dharmic city of 1 million people where they apply the philosophy of G&H while at the same time using modern technology. So a lot of the work here, this is the townhouse, a lot of it is kind of like the, I want to say, real estate development and creating new modern I want to say environment that would remind like the Japanification or the Sinification of low-income countries, but really apply the Buddhist philosophy of Vajrayana and the gross national happiness principles. You can see here just to make that we talk about, smart cities that are very digital, sustainable cities that have elements of regeneration in it, and a livable city that is also spiritual. So there's this very real, interesting, I don't know, east meets west, north meets south, the right brain meets the left brain, holistic approach to running the city. And what is interesting is that that mindfulness wraps exactly what cities kind of tend to be. Economic clusters of things that make a city attractive, if they have ecotourism, if they have good transportation, they're clean, they have good education, healthcare, wellness, longevity, all these things that make, cities attracted. And we have the people that are there. And the mindfulness as the outer membrane to really make sure that the spirit of His Majesty's vision is felt throughout the daily living. And so in that, for example, in that field, we've just opened a first of its kind, not only in the country, but in the region of at least 1,500 miles around us of a genomic reference lab with some solid AI products behind it to create a med park with manufacturing for pharma and longevity. It serves a basin of 150 million people. And so you can see this is with the Governor Latu, how exciting this is to go there and to serve not only the kingdom itself, who doesn't have these technologies, but also attract all the neighboring countries, all the way to other states of India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, and China. Another thing that is happening in the GMC is the launching of their own gold-backed token, called Tur and Dzongkha in Bhutanese is treasury. And you can see here that it is a collaboration of the DK Bank, the digital bank of His Majesty, together with Matrix Stock, or you might have known them as Matrix Port in Singapore, the custodian and financial services that are there. And again, to just bring in attraction for new financial services and bring capital into the kingdom. There is, again, in the sense of spirituality, a very interesting project. I recommend you guys to look at it. It's called the Project 108. So anybody who'll Google it, I think it's project108.bt for Bhutan. If you look at it, there, the idea is that on November 1st, 40,000 people are going to come and in one day going to build 108 shrines that are 108 meters apart from themselves for a total of almost 12 kilometers of spirituality. That is an engineering feat that shows not only the spirit of humans that can build it in one day, but also is double the height of what would be, if spread like that, Burj Khalifa. So really an amazing engineering feat to happen. And with that, we've created a fund to build what is called the Pelsungs, the Guardians of Prosperity. You see, these are young folks that are learning how to be startups, all those who are Y Combinators or folks who want to be involved either in mentorship or contribute to this fund. They're more than welcome to contact me and create that entrepreneurial ecosystem and make really Bhutan, if you wish, the Switzerland of Asia. The second project is the village. This is us speaking at the United Nations General Assembly. And Drinchengang, again, in Dzongkha means gratitude. It's the gratitude village. And this is how the village actually looks like. It's majestic. It's 400 years old and actually hosts the original masons that came to build what is called the dzongs, these fortress monasteries that represent really the symbol of Bhutan. Anybody who thinks of Bhutan thinks about these white structures with red roofs that are really there to protect historically the country from intruders, but also protect from evil spirits. And we've had the wonderful opportunity to turn this village, who is now 400 years old, into a living heritage museum and to move them right next to it a few hundred feet away into a new patch above the rice fields where they can continue a modern life. And in there, the roads are already built. We already laid the internet cables, the electricity, and what we're creating now are not only aesthetically pleasing housing, but also units that can welcome Westerners that want to experience a meaningful stay, long-term stay, anywhere from weeks to years amongst villagers, contribute to the community, and the community contributing to the spiritual well-being of us. These, of course, will be vetted folks that not only wish to integrate, but will upskill the community by their sharing their experience with them. And as we're doing this, we already trained the villagers to use tokens instead of money. We have land tokens, we have health tokens, we have karma tokens, loyalty tokens, all sorts of different non-cash money, using them in what we call a commitment pool. These commitment pools actually replicate their traditional work of rotation of labor. I'm sure any of those who are familiar with the concept of commitment pools know Will Ruddick from Grassroots Economics. He's done this in over 80 villages in Africa, where basically people can put money and services into a commitment pool. These are valued, curated, capped, and then redistributed. And this not only maps the debt within a village, but also unlocks it and allows a flow of services to actually redeem debt without involving external finances. So really, an elegant way to give these villages not only more purchasing power, but actually share their activities amongst themselves. Here's just an example of how we're explaining to them that none of us is as good as all of us, and how we put our things inside a pool and we rotate that either in goods and services or in credit. This is just an example of how this would look like. We can issue, for example, the villages can issue a bond. This bond can create a liquidity that can pay for different projects, and then would go into these approved pools, and then you could revenue split it. So the way, for example, it would look like is, let's say that there's a museum there, and we ask people to bring the most valuable heirloom into the museum. We NFT them, we tokenize the land, we tokenize the structure, we tokenize all the things that they brought in. We give a number to this, we generate that bond. Everybody becomes a bond holder, and every time a tourist comes and goes and sees that museum, a fraction of that goes straight into their self-sovereign wallet. And from there, they can either invest in other projects or repay their bond. We created, of course, a regenerative holding company because of the flow of multiple investments that are coming into the village. And so you're more than invited to discuss with me if you're interested to invest in the village. The third is really at the capital DHI, the Druk Holding Investment Company. It's, if you wish, the investor, the government investor of Bhutan. They have about 30 companies that invest in Bhutan, anywhere from airlines to telecom to mining to energy. And not only do they manage the portfolio, but they fund around 2/3 of the government of Bhutan. They also manage their Bitcoin mining and are involved in direct innovation. This is how Bitcoin mining looks like. Bitdeer has been doing this, I think, since 2018, 2019. Innovation technology, Innotech, their department, you can see here a very robust pipeline of work that's being done in IoT, in AI, in blockchain, renewables, drone and robotics. And this is their super fab lab that works, of course, with the MIT. And so a lot of things that are happening. And again, if someone has something specific that they're interested, either in collaborating with their own research, or they're interested in investing in, just let me know. Specifically, I wanted to show you guys this is very, as folks in decentralized AI, you can imagine that all these portfolio companies generate data. This data can be collected within lakes, within a cloud, create their own compute. And the idea behind it is to generate all this business intelligence, put it, through a specific private cloud, create its own engine that can serve a self-sovereign language model, and together with robotics actually work towards you can see here the inauguration of a robot monk, Gabi, the Dharmic word for mercy. So you can see here the embodiment of that. And needless to say that we created an interagency tokenization task force because there are so many people that are involved in it. that we really have to sit regularly and share and pool not only technologies and capital, but also human ideas and like that create the community, just like the whole point of this group here. So again, this is Gabby. And so just to tie up everything and leave some time for a few questions, the idea of a post-labor market in our vision is that a post-labor market is a commitment market. We like to think about value in the world as assets minus liabilities. We feel that that's a way to accrue debt where there are folks that do not want to relieve you from that debt and benefit from that debt. There's no person that personally has debt that enjoys being in that situation unless they know that they're kind of like using the system to profit from that debt, which leaves us with, I think the last number that I saw from the World Bank was $375 trillion of debt globally. Every country in the world has debt. There's not even one that does not have one. And the answer is, who do we owe that debt to? I owe it to who? And I guess we just own it to each other. And so we prefer to think of it that perhaps we could look at what your value is as the commitments you made minus the commitments that are yet to be fulfilled. And so if I make a million promises and never fulfill any of them, my word is worth nothing and my value is very low. But on the other hand, if I made 199 of them already fulfilled, then I'm a man of my words. And just like our grandparents taught us, that's sacrosanct. And if you want, like this, we can speak about interactions like this conversation we have right now in terms of transaction. Lou gave me credit. He said, Alex, come on. We have now, I don't know, 30 people on the line. You make $1,000 an hour. So Lou actually gave me $30,000 worth of credit. And so now there are two options. I can just come and look at you guys and say nothing. And everybody's going to look at me and my credit score is going to go down. And Lou will say to me, you just embarrassed me and your credit score is worthless and you're not going to be invited again. Or everybody going to say, oh my God, this is so awesome. This is way worth more than the $1,000 an hour I make, and my credit score goes up. So we are now really working mathematically on these type of how do we translate acts of wisdom, of kindness, of mutualism, of reciprocal gifting into numbers. And just to tie that together with AI, we believe that, okay, let's say that AI is going to do a bulk of our menial work that we don't care about. So AI needs are dependent on high performance data centers. These data centers take energy. So how about we use that energy and create these universal basic energy equities and serve them to the folks that are basically nature owns. And so we use that in Bhutan. There's an abundance of hydropower, and we are building a system of giving each village a piece of that energy, and that allows them to be part of the success of the AI revolution. So you don't get any more decentralized than that. Last thing to share is we are in the spirit of combining the spiritual and the science. We are having a 9-day gathering at the end of the year called Prophecy and Science. We are bringing 100 prophecy holders from, I want to say, 35 country, indigenous nations, including the Kogi, the Eshwar, the Iroquois, the Maori, the Aboriginals in Australia, as well as those that are in our region. We are having them sit side by side with AI specialists, quantum scientists, climate researchers, and not only talk about the poly crisis we're living in, the climate apocalypse, the AI supremacy, and the I want to say falling apart of any human run institution, but also to think of ways how to mitigate that and start to work together. Um, yeah, so thank you again so much for this. I left about 15 minutes for Q&A, and Lou, always grateful for the opportunities you give me to share my work. Thank you.
Needed to unmute. Thanks a lot, Alex. That was terrific. If anybody wants to, we'll open up Q&A. So if you got a question, I'd like to ask Alex something, you raise your hand. You talked about how Bhutan chose you, and I totally get what you mean. But it's obviously a super interesting road to you being there, and particularly you also mentioned your work at Vanuatu and kind of how that led to Bhutan.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that one step before that, or I'll take two steps before that, is those who don't know me, I'm a physician by training, a pain doctor. So I understand pain and suffering and built multiple pain clinics around the world. So I'm familiar with the healthcare industry, the global healthcare industry. I realized at some point in my career that you can't seriously talk about mental health and physical health without talking about planet health and financial health. And then when I came to New York in 2014, I met Kathy Wood and spent time with her. That's where I met Lou. And I was a thematic advisor, mathematic advisor at the time. And Lou, immediately hit it off. And this is my foray into the decentralized world of admitting that none of us is as good as all of us. Went through like all
And
of you
that was
guys.
late 2017.
Yep, yep. And it was between 2014 and 2017 that I really deep dived into these decentralized technologies. And when I read back the stuff that I wrote back then, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking of? It's like, how little did I understand what this is all about? But after that, I wrote a book about, and Adeli at the time also knew about that, was very, very helpful about healthcare and blockchain, and became like the crypto health guy. So you're a leader in a field of n equals one, and that led me to some work in West Africa, in East Africa first, then in West Africa. And finally, I found myself in a very interesting project in Satoshi Island in Vanuatu, and where I thought really that's where everything is going to work well. Island life, a lot of degens, a lot of let's do some stuff there. Turned out that the government kind of said you got to pay us a little bit and pay us more and more and more, and got into all kinds of the usual dynamics. When money starts to get involved, it just starts to stall things, and it became less and less what we really wanted to do, and that is create an investment in the commons. It's really about lifting everybody and creating these mechanisms of working together. And by happenstance, I want to say early last year, some colleagues of mine in impact investment just said to me, there's a delegation to Bhutan. Do you want to join? I said, sure, never been there. Why not? And then, when you land in a country that is about 10,000 to 14,000 feet in the air, and suddenly you don't feel the oxygen, you kind of tend to talk less and listen more. And you stop pitching, and you stop trying to sell your shtick and maybe listen. And like I said, I was very fortunate to meet His Majesty in an audience and just heard his vision and said, "Oh my God!" and just deep dived into it. I'm actually in 2 weeks going back again. This will be my fifth time in 2 years in Bhutan. I went through some silent retreats there. I've received a
Yeah,
Bhutanese
what was the
name.
longest silent retreat you went to?
Oh, now it was like three weeks, and yeah, now I'm going for the maybe I'll do the 3 months one. There's a three days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, and
Wow.
so yeah, so there are longer and longer ones. And yeah, so I was fortunate. If you see in parenthesis here, my name Yeshey, which means in Bhutanese wisdom. So I received the Bhutanese name, and they take those names very seriously. And yeah, it's just a great. It's a great
What does it mean?
experience. It means wisdom.
Uh,
So yeah. So I see that there are hands up.
Yep. Max?
Max.
Yep.
Great presentation and great work you're doing. I just want to inform you if you need any help with generative digital twins for sustainabilities and data management and with quantum, please feel to reach out and we can
Yeah.
discuss it further.
Alex, how should people get in contact?
Here on LinkedIn would be the easiest. I'll also put my email, I'll put my Bhutanese email here, and you can reach out to me. But best is also to ping me on LinkedIn because that's where I have my conversations. Thank you, Max. I will definitely reach out to you.
Fantastic. I will connect with you and send you a short message.
Okay.
Eric, I see Eric raised his hand.
Yeah, thanks so much for your presentation, Dr. CAhana. I'm a huge fan of Will Ruddock's and had the opportunity to meet him last year at the Ethereum Localism Conference before East Denver. We became friends. He actually stayed with me in the city in San Francisco last year when he came to the funding the Commons Conference. And so I'm a huge fan of Seraphim Network and grassroots economics. And I'm so happy to see working together in Bhutan. When I last talked to him a few months ago, he mentioned he was going to Bhutan. Didn't know it was to work with you. And so it's so fantastic to see, Seraphim actually hitting the ground there. And I love the way you're using his commitment pool technology to do this kind of post-labor economics, and would just love to get your feedback on some post-labor economic ideas I've been working on that involve cryptography and blockchain. Uh, my hypothesis is that instead of thinking about it as UBI, we should be thinking about it as royalty payments. That for the last 20 years, we've had all of our data, all of our content trained on by the tech oligarchs who have extracted an inordinate amount of value from all of the work we've been doing and all of the behaviors we've been exhibiting online. And that we have the technology with decentralized AI networks to enforce payments that preserve human dignity, that don't get framed as handouts, but that should get framed as royalty payments. So I've just written a book on that called Terms of Service: Reclaiming Human Dignity in an Age of Digital Surveillance. Human agency in an age of digital surveillance. And would just love your feedback on the work. I'll reach out to you on LinkedIn to see if we can find some time to collaborate.
Phenomenal. No, this is wonderful. And I think also royalties are much easier legally to frame them than universal anything.
Yeah.
And so I'll definitely get the book and read it, and definitely will reach out and discuss. Will and his wife Aud were spent a month in the village. Phenomenal. Created a real relationship. They're actually now coming back to Bhutan in September and plan to live there for a few years. So this is, I want to
That's
say,
awesome.
my fourth or fifth friend that moved to Bhutan. And soon I'll be out of friends because everybody's going to move to Bhutan. So this whole idea of having these retirement homes and things in this is just basically to put us there because so no, but
Alex, where are you living now?
now I'm in Manhattan.
Right. Okay, good. Awesome.
So yeah, so this
Suffering
is
along with the rest of us, right? Not in Bhutan.
no, that would be too easy. That'd be too easy. Yes, I see Rex raise the hand.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm
Yes.
also in New York, so whenever you want to reach out, my office is on Broadway and FIDE. Um, Basically, my question is: it seems like you're doing a lot of work in Bhutan. Is there plans to expand beyond Bhutan for these kinds of programs, or do you think that it's not scalable beyond like a small sovereign country like Bhutan? Because I see how it could work there. I don't know if it could be scaled anywhere else, even like Nepal or something.
So the short answer is yes. I just we're kind of taking it with deliverables and really create this ecosystem because very very quickly you get people saying exactly that. Well, can it work out? Give me an example that works. Give me. And so there are. I don't pretend to be the only person that's working on these concepts of network cities, pop-up cities, new ways of financing and governance and all that. But we just move too fast. And I think that what makes this special is that it is village led or country led, which makes me feel, and I'm sure you all intuitively understand, that there's going to be no two places that are the same. And so this is where the tweaking needs to happen. This is where my idea of universal, one size fits all, kind of like everything falls apart because what one type of utilization of tokens and the AI engine, what it would answer in one place would not be the same of what it would do or answer in another place. And so my answer is absolutely. We are already folks in India are coming to us, and other countries in outside the region that are reaching to us. But we really want to focus in the next 2, 3 years on a solid, I want to say, a cycle, regenerative cycle, so that we can see that these ideas, can they really stick? So just to give you an example, and then I'll get to Delhi because I know he rose his hand. But in the village, there's a temple, and before the temple, there's this kind of wheel of fortune. It's called the money wheel, by the way. It's kind of like a money wheel. But there are two old people that bless you before you go into the temple. Now, that is a real activity. It's a real economic activity, but they don't get paid, right? It's not like the village pays them or whatnot, or a job, or. But if they are not there, everybody asks, where are they? So it has value. And so we said, well, how about every time they someone passes the wheel and they bless them, we give them a karma token. And with that karma token, they can go down to the tavern at the end of the day and get dinner. And so we started to do that. And the owner of the tavern, he was happy because he was feeding the elder, right? They were happy because they got paid for their work, quote unquote. And after a time, the head of the tavern said to the farmer that gave him the rice, can I get some rice in discount? And he said, why would I give you 20% off? He said, because I'm a good person, and showed him the ledger of all the people that he fed. And he said, you are a good person. I'm going to give you 20% off. And then he asked to all his suppliers, and they gave him 20%. And suddenly, being a good person is incorporated in the economic value. So one of the Westerners were there were like, why are you allowing him to pay 20% less? It's worth less. He said, no, it's worth more because before you paid it only with money. Now it's money and karma. And maybe next year it'll be 50-50. And if we're really good, in 3 years, it'll be 100% karma. And so suddenly you realize that money actually represents nothing, doesn't really represent anything but an agreement. And if their agreement is karmic, you can move like that to a different way of looking at things. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but just to show you that we want to give this some time to see how things evolve and what can be scaled. Dele, sorry to keep you waiting.
Not at all, not at all, my friend. It's look, it's always a pleasure and just so inspiring and encouraging just to see how you continue to march forward with the mission, right? And just evolve it and expand it in what you're approaching and what you're doing. And, the world needs more thinkers like you, more actors, not just thinkers like you. So I'm really, really impressed in that sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, and look, I think so much to talk about, and obviously we need to catch up pretty soon. Two things that you said really struck out to me, and line with what I've been working on recently. One is regenerative, and I think that the need for regeneration is really key. And then this project around Gabby, the monk, the robot monk that was ordained, has really struck a nerve with me as well. And I've been doing a lot of work recently on this concept of an agentic polity, where it's clearly that we're living in a cybernetic system. And the problem is that most of it's based on internet platform economics, which are extractive. And the opportunity for you and I did a lot of work around digital human rights and rights around individuals. Well, the world has become more complex now because we also have agents that are working alongside humans. And the real question now is really in terms of this cybernetic system that we're living in. Is it going to be extractive, or is it going to be human empowering? Is it going to be sovereign, or is it going to be platform based? So I've done a lot of work around that. It feels like it really is very much aligned. I love the spiritual dimension that you brought to the work as well, because I think ultimately that's what sovereignty really represents: consciousness and a path towards greater consciousness and therefore greater spirituality. So just wanted to compliment you on the work that you're doing, and would definitely love to catch up and talk about how we potentially bring that to what you're doing with a full stack for it.
I would love that, Della. Obviously, working together is always something that we should do in our find time to do in our busy days. I think that I'm very fortunate to be also in an environment that is very technologically minded, if you wish. Not only, like I said, the Bitcoin mine, they have self-sovereign identity wallets, but also they practice Vajrayana, which is a school of thought within Buddhism, which is very, if you wish, ritualistic. We like to call it tantric Buddhism. I don't use that term because when I talk to a West community and say that word, they have all kinds of other images of are you going to Tantra Island and all that?
Yeah,
So,
right.
but it's really ritualistic, and those rituals lend itself to be very algorithmic. And so it is, even when you speak to folks from the monastic body, it is like you're speaking to computer scientists. There is a way to do, if you want to do this, then this is the algorithm that you need to do. If you want this outcome, this is the ritual that needs to be done. So it's very IO, kind of like in-out processing. This is why we're doing the prophecy and the science meeting, because it is just fantastic to listen to the spiritual leaders actually speak in a language that immediately you can say, oh, that could be agentic, that could be decentralized, that could be governed this way. This is why we did the tokenization so easily, to Eric's point, because Latzab is Rola, is rotation of labor. There was no jumping. We didn't have to put other layers of interpretation. So again, we're fortunate with regenerative economics to follow the edicts of John Fullerton. It's amazing. He's amazing. The ideas of capturing not just material and financial capital, but also human, ecological, relational, social, political, and all that. And I'll really finish by saying that, and I know we're at time, is just to say, and Lou heard this joke multiple times, but it's worth hearing, is to really address our presuppositions. So the story goes that a businessman comes to Bhutan, goes to the governor and says, I want to build a highway that will cut travel time by half. And the governor looks at him and says, I don't understand. And he says, no, it's like I have a boring machine. We'll go carve through the mountain. We'll lay the asphalt, put this, and it'll be half the time. He said, no, I understand what a tunnel is. What I don't understand is why are you in a hurry? And that's really, we have these basic assumptions
Right.
that that's what we need to revisit. And
Right.
that's will unlock our capacity to make AI really good.
I agree completely. I'll reach out. Definitely, we've got a long catch up, way overdue.
Lou, you're still muted.
That was a great session. Thanks, everyone. Stick around and happy Crypto Monday, everyone.
Thank you.